Hi everyone. In this video, I thought of showing you a productivity trick that I have. It's going to be a short video. Whenever I'm working on a set of files which produces an output, be it a document that depends on external images or something like that, or a spreadsheet, or even for code, I work on something and I create an output, and then I think, okay, let me try something else, and I do something, and then I get a different output, and I think, okay, I'm not satisfied with this, I'll go back to the previous output or something like that. So this kind of thing would have happened to you as well. So when we do this, what happens, if you want to revert something, or if you want to go to a different state, you have to remember all the changes that you have made to a bunch of files, and then you have to go to each of these files and make the changes. But it's going to be tedious if you want to repeat this again and again when you're working on something, and you want to try out different things, or you will end up not trying different things, which is not a good thing. You have to try as many things as possible if time permits, to bring an output that you are very satisfied with, right? With anything, a presentation or code, to bring out a output that you want. So what I do, I try to take backup of the entire folder, which is quicker instead of finding out each and every folder or each and every file or something like that. I'll just take a quick backup of the folder, and then try out the different thing that I want to try, and bring out a different output or something like that. And then if I'm not satisfied, or if I want to go back, I'll just replace the backup, restore from the backup that I have, and I can quickly come back to the state that I want. So I used to use some kind of an archive program, which automatically quickly creates an archive of the current folder with a timestamp or something like that, so that there will be minimal manual intervention from me, like I don't want to type anything or something like that. But there are some cases where you can't install a archiving program in a machine. In those cases, what I do, I have a PowerShell script that I execute. I basically copy the script into a folder which I'm working on, and I'll just quickly execute it, and it creates an archive for me. But this is not suitable for a large number of files or a huge code base or something like that, because it would take a lot of time to archive everything, and it's not a practical thing. You may say, like, why can't we use something like Dropbox or any source control? Even when we are doing something, even when we are using something like that, when we are, for instance, if you take a source control, you can actually label the set of changes, and then you can revert back to that or something like that. But if you want to try something over a period of say an hour or so, you may try two or three things, and every time, if you want to give a label, or if you want to do something with the source control, what happens, you kind of pollute the source control, and you don't want to do that very often. So in cases where you want to just try something for 10-20 minutes and then see if that's working, or go back to a previous state, that kind of scenarios, you can just do this. So you can't do this for all the scenarios, and it's not a good practice as well, to do this for all kind of scenarios. For something small or something short, you can do this. And so I'll show you a PowerShell script. It's just a one-liner. So this is the script that I have. I just rename it as Z, so that if I go to the folder and press Z, I'll find this one immediately, and I can press the keyboard shortcut Shift F10, or the context menu shortcut near the control key, and I'll just execute the script. So what's there in this script? So if you open it, so as I said, it's literally one line of code. As you know, PowerShell scripts are basically a set of commandlets, and I'm using a commandlet called compress archive, and I'm passing the required parameters and creating the archive. So I'm getting the current folder location of this script, and I'm passing that to the commandlet, saying that this is the folder I want to archive. And I'm saying the destination path is basically the folder name and the file name. In this case, I'm just giving the file name by getting, I'm creating a file name by getting the current date and time, and I'm mentioning the compression level has to be optimal, and I'm saying when you're facing any error, just continue silently. That means there will be certainly some amount of files in your folder which are kind of locked by the processes that are running. So if there is an error, we most probably we might not need those files and all. If you open a Word document, there are hidden files created sometimes which you don't need. So mostly if you continue silently, if there is an error, it's not a problem. So I'm just doing that. If this parameter is not given, then the archive won't be created if there are any files that are locked by any processes or something like that. So I'm just reading the user input finally before closing the script, but you can remove this line, and you can just and then if you execute this script, it will just execute silently. I'll show you how this is executing. I'll create a folder here, ps test, and I'll create a file, something like that, and I'll copy this file. I'll create another folder. I'll probably go there and create another file. So if I come back, so I have a couple of, imagine that this is the folder I'm working on, and I've modified a couple of files in this folder. So I am going to copy the script file into this folder, and I'm just going to execute it, and there'll be an archive that's created. So this is the archive. So I have given the link to get this code as well. It's very simple. You don't have to, you can just pause the video and type it yourself, but you have the link from where you can get this code. So you can let me know what you think. Do you think this is stupid? Do you think it is cool? Is there any other more simpler way to do this? You let me know. Okay, thanks.